Welcome everybody to the Jeremy Womack Show. Today we have Miss Charity Faith on the show with us. She is a multifaceted woman, does all sorts of things in this town, has worked in the nightlife industry, is doing marketing now. Well, she was doing that before, but now she's doing it for herself. Her new company, Watercolor Marketing. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I've known Charity, I don't know, probably 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Always would
pretty much.
see her out in the nightclubs. It's like because you can already see because we're video, her teeth and her smile is just like boom, exactly. See, and she would be out in the clubs, and she would be the one that you would go, wow, that girl is having a fantastic time. And look at her, she's wearing a Ninja Turtle backpack, and or she has some sort of cool outfit on. It was all this kind of stuff. So she really stood out. And in this town, especially if you're brand new, you have to do that sort of thing. You have to stand out amongst everybody else,
right?
For sure. So, so I wanted Charity to come on the show because I like everything that she's done. I've seen like the progression from starting off. Like you said, you've been here since 2007, right?
Yeah. Actually, I got here in 2006. I didn't work for the first year.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Took a little vacay.
But you started working with AMG Angel Management Group.
Correct.
Okay, and helped open the brand new Maria Beach Club.
Correct.
Okay, because they went through this whole remodel. I think it was originally started by Mandalay Bay, and then AMG took it over.
Right.
So cool. Were you behind the whole Toptional thing? Because if you were, that's awesome.
No.
Okay.
But I didn't really know what I was doing back then,
you
to be honest with you.
Back then?
I didn't know what I was doing for marketing back then.
But the skills that you acquired doing that and some other jobs have brought you to where you are today.
Right.
So you, and I think I started seeing you more when there was this photo shoot that you did with all these guys from the Vegas Group Entertainment, where you were out in front of the Vegas sign and I think jumping and things like that. It's a good memory.
Yeah, very good memory. We like to have fun, though.
Yeah, so are you still doing stuff with them as well?
I do help them a little bit still. Their company's kind of gone in a different direction than what I would like to do as far as my career. Nightlife is probably always going to be a part of my life, at least until my clients ditch me. But
well, let's hope that doesn't
happen.
Right. But what you are doing, which is smart, in my opinion, is that you're diversifying, because with your company Watercolor Marketing, you have all sorts of stuff. Not only do you have Skinny Fats, which let's see this little menu right here. Skinny Fats, and would you like to present it? I don't know how close you can see it from there. Good. And we'll talk about them in a second. But Skinny Fats, there we are. Let's see. You've got Las Vegas Distillery, which is, I think, the very first distillery here in Las Vegas.
Right.
So that's really pretty cool. And I think that you were part of that the way the marketing went out. I wish I could have gone, but the I don't want to call them a flower, an invite that was sent out. Were these cool things? Was it leather? Or
they were
leather or something?
Wood.
They
were wood engraved invitations.
Yes, they went all out to ask you to go, and I wish I could have gone now, because all I heard from her was, "I need your address." I'm like, okay, here you go. And then a few days later, I get this invite in the mail. I'm like, damn, I wish I could go. But you worked with Life is Beautiful, Sensation, and then there's another spinoff kind of company with Las Vegas Distillery called Red Wagon.
Right. That's actually a company that I'm starting with them. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a partnership company that's going to be working with the distillery on their promotionals, or for their promotion tours.
Oh, will they be going around on Red Wagons?
I hope so.
Let's cross our fingers. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because that's because they are the first. It's good that they would go out.
Right. It's like history that's happening now, which doesn't really happen too often anymore.
Right.
Everything is like stuff that you've heard about, growing up, or somebody telling you a story about how it happened.
Sure.
But the distillery is like live history happening
it's
right now.
And it's good. I mean, in Vegas needs something like that. And I think that they've had breweries, but not an actual distillery in
right.
Vegas
they have
before.
wineries.
So there's a difference.
Breweries. And right, this is the first distillery in the
That's
state
pretty
of
cool.
Nevada.
And so these are all the companies that you're working with now. And of course, I mentioned Skinny Fats, but um, some of the things that you were doing before, how, so we're going to talk about the Skinny Fats campaign because I know personally kind of how that, I'm sure other people do, but how that went down because we had dinner one night and talked all about it. But how did all the skills that you have acquired through the years helped you with what you're doing now in your own business? Because also she used to carry 2, 3 phones around and they would blow up all the time. She's like, I can't ever escape these things because they're constantly,
Right.
because she would do promotions and nightlife. You'd walk people into clubs and you'd be at their tables and kind of entertain, or you would also, make sure that they had their bottle service correct and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, your phone's going to be blowing up
Right.
constantly because you worked with different nightclubs too. I don't want to say because I think that you were more independent, but
Right.
did you work for some in particular? Maybe one that we may not even want to mention.
Yeah, I worked with a Tao group probably the longest.
Right.
I don't know if you remember their Vinyl Wednesdays.
I do.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the
but that
day.
was actually my first promotion with them, and that was with Vegas Group Entertainment.
Okay.
So that was a really fun party. I loved dressing up totally 80s for
Yeah,
that.
that was always it's a little bit of a trademark because even with that, there's if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see all these pictures that she shoots of herself and different clothing too. It's
Right.
like it's like a little fashion show that she does. It's like a 3-panel shot of like, okay, you can have this and bag and skirts, and this is it was almost as if you're watching, and if I was a girl I would go, oh, that's a neat style, I want to do that too. And
Right. And a lot of the outfits that I would use for those shoots were just simple basics that were in my closet, and I just reuse them in different ways to show girls that you don't have to buy, top brand anything.
right, you
And
can take what you have
still look
already.
cute, and you can dress modestly without having to, or and still be sexy,
Which is true too, because it was like little slight subtle things, and you'd have guys going, whoa.
See, I think that's what I need to start doing.
You need to
Show men how to dress as sexy as I can right here and pull
How
it
much
off.
was this shirt?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember how much- There's a 25-cent shirt that we always talk about on the show that he wears sometimes. It's
It cost me a
Nice.
quarter.
I said
Nice.
I said we're gonna have some good-looking girls coming in here, George. You better dress it up a little bit. And so,
So this is what I
there you go.
did.
That's what you
Look
did.
at me
Dressed
go.
up today. This is George dressing up.
fancy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna forego the tux today. But it was really cool. And do you still do that sort of thing, or did you kind of go away from it a bit?
So that actually just came about because I was going through a pretty rough time in my life and I needed a self-esteem boost, to be honest.
Well,
and
that
I
would do it.
always got compliments on my outfits. So I thought, kind of need a little bit of love and attention
I would like
right
some
now.
likes on my pictures, please, and make me feel good.
Just to be completely honest about
Right.
it. But I got such positive response about it, and I would see girls out in the club that would talk to me and just be like, "Thanks for your posts. Like they helped me with my
Right.
outfit today." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I kept doing it, and I set up a little makeshift studio in my house. I pinned up a very elegant sheet to my wall.
Very, very elegant sheet.
Yeah. And,
You would have never known that's what she did, by the way.
No, I'm pretty good at the iPhone apps and stuff. And then I would just like tilt a lamp over and it would give
You-
me good lighting and then I'd edit it.
See this? Got some good
Oh,
lighting
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh, that's just great right here.
But yeah, I mean, I just had fun with it and it kind of challenged myself too to leave the house, looking as good as possible
Right.
every single day and not being super lazy with it, because when you start your own business, it's really easy to just stay at home in your pajamas all day.
Right.
But I loved doing the little fashion shoots that I did. I tried to take my business in that direction for social media and teach people how to, or teach small boutique type of businesses how to do their own marketing with the girls that work on their sales floor, and just
Right.
put them in, the clothes that they have, and show them how to pose cute and just use an iPhone. I would just use a camera timer app to do it.
The
so.
iPhone or whatever phone that you have there, the cameras are just so great these days
Yeah.
that I guess anyone's a photographer pretty much.
Right.
But you're able to, help your brand more, whatever that might be. If it is yourself or it's take pictures, and,
Right.
if you're promoting a fashion line, which you weren't necessarily, but you could do that and.
I did work with one company called Mod. They were at Mandalay Bay or Mandalay Place.
Okay. Where the shops are.
Right. And I loved their store. I was in there all the time. I was
I think I remember some
customer.
of the ones that you posted were.
Yeah, and I started working with them at the tail end of when they closed down. I don't really know exactly what happened, but they have stores all over the place.
Okay.
So I'm sure they just, moved on and whatnot. But I got to work with them for a minute, and that was awesome.
Right.
And then that kind of led into me working with a company called the Fashion Mob, which just kind of launched around that time that I was playing around with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you still do stuff with them?
Somewhat. Valerie Mack is one of my really good friends, and we
Okay.
support each other, and we get each other involved in all of the projects that we do. So if I get a new project that I think she can work with, I always recommend her, and vice versa.
That's
so
good.
We're really good friends,
You were talking about how people would come up to you in the club when you posted these pictures and stuff, and that's really the amazing thing. And I'm bringing this up because of how we're broadcasting right now. I'm posting on Facebook that, hey, come listen to us, and this is how you do it. But I even had people come up to me in the club when I was doing like these daily vlog videos, and I didn't know. I knew people were watching them because I saw views on them, but I didn't know how many. And then just people walking up to me randomly in Tao saying, "Oh wow, I saw you when you were riding around on that grocery cart around the store with your roommate. That was so funny how you guys were doing all that." And I didn't. You don't know that happens until someone actually approaches you and says, "Oh, I saw that. You made me laugh. Keep doing it," or whatever. And it's this weird concept, because with what you're doing with marketing and social media, it's kind of hard for the businesses to really see that what you're doing is actually doing something for them.
Right.
It's for them, they're like, "Oh, well, I was going to get that customer anyway." It's not because you put out that social media post. And you're like, "No, it's clearly because I put that out there because you didn't have the customers before, but now you do." But it's a very good tool. It seems easy, but it's not.
Social media is so powerful.
Right.
I mean, ever since Friendster.
Back in the day, yeah.
I just fell in love with social media. I mean, Friendster was the most annoying platform ever. Like,
Right.
you could not refresh your page for anything. It
Right.
would take like 15 minutes, as if you were on dial-up. But
But you
actually, maybe we were.
Maybe you were
still.
on dial-up. Did it make it
Right.
when you were signing on?
Right. But I mean, I fell in love with it back then. When I got pregnant with my daughter. We didn't talk about my daughter yet, but
Not
she's
yet, we will.
9
Yeah,
now.
she's 9 now.
And when I got pregnant, none of my friends were pregnant or had kids, and I was the first. And
Wow.
so I really reached out through social media to talk about my experience. And unfortunately, her dad was not the best at being
Sometimes it happens.
being my boyfriend during that time.
Sure.
And so I blogged almost every single day, and I had fans all around like the U.S.
Right.
I still have some of those fans that have become my friends, and they are still my friends on Facebook. And I think it's so amazing. You know, they've seen me really change throughout
Sure.
the past 10 years now.
They saw you here, and then they see you now, and they're like, wow. And that's one of the cool things that I do like about Las Vegas is that, you know, in 2007 you were here. I've been here consistently now since 2000. But when you see, you're here with your friends, and you're kind of having this meteoric rise with them together, and then they go do these crazy things and work with these crazy people. One of the people I like to kind of say is like Z. And Z Zandy, so she works with, she's been everywhere. I remember meeting her when she worked at risque back in the day on the door because I was shooting inside there, and so I'd see her all the time. But just a rise in what she was doing from going like to Jet, and then working with AMG, and then working with Win, and now she's with the record company, I think, right? Or, but, and I only use her as an example just to show you're friends with that person, and just watching them, you're supportive. At least I am. I'm like,
Right.
congratulations, that's awesome, kick butt and take names. So, and you're similar in that respect, where you see that you're like, okay, so you're one of this little group here doing this thing, and you're jumping in front of the Las Vegas sign, and now you're doing your own thing, and you're a single mom. You just mentioned Chloe's 9. If you would like to see what Chloe looks like, I posted
She
a big,
looks like me.
just like her.
Cuter.
It's a mini me.
Smaller.
Really. And she acts like her too, because they
Yeah.
do videos and stuff, and she's a comedian basically.
She's
and
so funny.
She's very funny. So if you do follow Charity, you'll see these little posts sometimes that they do, these videos and stuff. But if you go to the JeremyWomackShow.com, I put up a page for Charity. Talks about all that she does and links to her website, but also at the bottom I made sure to include. And they're interacting like, you would think that you are obviously best friends, but it's like you would go, well, some people don't have that relationship with their children. They just go, I'm the mom, or I'm the dad, you're the kid. And it doesn't, at least from what it appears from my angle, it doesn't seem like it's that way. It is to a point where you're like, okay, you need to do these things, like go to school and brush your teeth and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, you're my buddy, we're hanging out, we always have each other's back kind of thing. So that's awesome, I think.
Right. Yeah, and I've always been really close to her. I mean, just straight out of the womb, I just, fell in love with her, obviously. I mean, I'm a mom.
Sure,
but,
sure.
as she's been growing up, and I've really, kind of traveled through her with all of our hard times, and, she's matured through a lot of it. I mean, just seeing how she's blossomed through a lot of the difficult times that me and her father have put her through,
Right.
she's just a remarkable little girl. She's so
I don't think
well
that if you
behaved.
told me she was
She's
9, I would
amazing.
know that, because she has
acts
the
like
maturity.
she's 25, but she looks like she's 6.
She does.
She's tiny.
She's very small.
Right. So people are always confused by her.
They're like, you are speaking very intelligently, but why, you look 6. What's the deal here? But it's what's I think is awesome about it is that you're able to do that and do these things too. You didn't say, okay, I've got a kid and I have to just, have a job that I don't like doing because I have to put, food on the table, and I'm very upset at how my life has gone, whatever. You're like, no, I can still be a single mom, no help from the dad, and build this business of all these skills that I have of something that I actually enjoy doing. Because I would never ever think that you did not enjoy every single minute of what you were doing with your companies now.
Well, let me correct you there.
Uh-oh.
Her
Okay.
her dad is active in her life.
Okay, cool.
And he lives here in Las Vegas, and he's learned over the years as well how to be, his own part-time single parent.
Okay,
and
awesome.
He is.
My apologies then.
He's not a deadbeat at all.
Good,
but
good.
we just have our differences, so
We'll just leave it there then.
Yeah.
We don't need
We're
to
not
discuss it.
BFFs. We're not
You're
friends
not
on
BFFs?
Facebook.
No?
No.
So one of the coolest, all of them are cool, but Charity's background with, well, now we have an ad about Burger King.
Did pop up.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, cool.
I love Burger
You could
King.
just put skinny fats up there.
Yeah, put Skinny Fats up there
Please.
instead. So with all the marketing background that she has, and we were talking about Skinny Fats, is I'm sure many of you have seen this. You have tons of fans on Instagram with Skinny Fats. A lot of that marketing, maybe even all of it, we can attribute to you.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so when I first joined the Skinny Fats team, it was Josh Green, who is the creator of the menu.
Okay.
It's his recipes, it's his flavors, his ingredients, his presentation. And Reed, who is the owner of Skinny Fats.
Okay.
And he is an entrepreneur. He's he's been into marketing, so
I've
there's
met him a few times.
yeah. But we actually have a mutual friend, Brandon Ring, who is one of the managers over at Hakkasan.
Okay.
And I've worked with Brandon in nightlife for a long time, and it's kind of funny that me and Reed are working together, because I remember Brandon always telling me about Reed. But anyway, I started working with them about a month before we opened, and honestly, this was a restaurant that we were like, our friends are probably going to want to eat here.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind eating here. We had big dreams for it.
The
but
concept being
there's really no telling exactly what is going to happen.
You never know that when you start something. That's but it was a plausible thing, because you're like, okay, so let's take, from what I recall, let's take two concepts: people liking to eat healthy, and people liking to eat fun, sweet things, and happy things. Live happy, live healthy, live happy,
Right.
and combining the restaurants. So you might have somebody in your group that wants to eat healthy, and you might have someone that wants to eat fun. So you can have both of those in the same spot.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things in the beginning that we saw, was that we had a lot of couples who had different dietary restrictions, whether, she's a vegetarian and he just loves meat,
Right.
or, she's on this crazy diet and so is he's shredding up. I mean, all different types of stuff. So having a place where you could go and both enjoy a meal and not have to be sacrificing at all for one another.
Right.
I mean, it's the best of both worlds, or all worlds.
Well, and the menu really runs the gamut. I mean,
it is extensive. I mean, we've got a full breakfast, and for every item that's on the menu, there is a counterpart. So whether you like to live on the healthy side or live on what we call the happy side, there is a counterpart for that. So, for example, we have our our bonjour brulee, which is our healthy version of French toast. Well, we have a happy version of French toast. So
it's more decadent.
Right.
Right.
So, and it's just little tiny tweaks that kind of, just as if you were eating at home.
Right.
You make little adjustments to still enjoy the foods that you like. Not a whole lot of people eat twigs and berries. And,
No.
I try to whenever I can.
when
George
they're on
is a
diets.
big fan of twig and berries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I go up
We'll
to the
put that
wooden
on the menu for you.
scavenger.
But we just did little tweaks so that you and I could get the same thing, but maybe you want to be healthy, and I'm feeling a little happy today.
Sure.
So.
That's awesome. And the success of it, when we want to talk about the marketing. Oh, by the way, I have this nice drink that Cherry's brought me today. I don't know what's in it. I just know that it tastes good. What do we want to say? What's in the drink?
Sure.
Okay.
It's carrots, oranges, apples. We blend a little bit of basil in there, and it's got, I believe, lemon.
Does it have a name?
It's called Liquid Defense. It's
Liquid-
actually my
wow,
favorite.
really?
Yeah, I brought my favorite for you.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm assuming that just by the name, it's something that is to.
It's like an immune
That's
booster.
awesome.
Most juice places have some type of immune booster, some type of hangover cure, some type of green juice, and then they go off of other variations of
Okay.
that. So we stayed in line with that, of course. We didn't want to go too far off base with a lot of things. I mean,
Sure.
we want people to feel comfortable when they walk in. Like, we've been around for a long time, and honestly, that's the reaction we get all the time. Is that how long you guys been here?
Right.
Is this a franchise? Is this a big company somewhere else?
And you
But
do that
no,
well
this is the first
with when you enter, and I haven't been. I can say that honestly. I want to go. But I've seen plenty of pictures, so I already know what I'm going to see when I get there. But it hasn't. It looks like it's been there for a long time. But so it's new, but looks like it's been there for a long time. But at the same time, it's this restaurant in the middle of like an industrial park.
Right. It's a business park, and we've got a bunch of offices around us. There were a few eateries around. And that's kind of how this whole thing started, was that Reed had an office a couple doors down. There used to be a deli there. I think it was called Little Vegas Deli or something like
Okay.
that, where Skinny Fats is now.
Wow.
But I mean, it was a decent deli. It wasn't anything spectacular. They weren't trying to go crazy and expand and become this, big nationwide
Brand,
company
sure.
or anything. And the space became available at one point.
And it was already kind of set up to have a restaurant, so
Right. I mean,
these
it,
were already
it was
there.
definitely a restaurant space. I
Sure.
mean, the kitchen and all that. But basically, Reed walked over and was like, "Can I take this space?" Called his good friend Josh Green, and they started brainstorming on, what kind of restaurant they would open up. So I came in after the whole Skinny Fats concept had, been born.
Right.
I came after they needed a little bit of what I call brand nourishment
Sure.
and stuff. So
But what's cool is that's when I started, I think, seeing it all. I mean, I may have seen, I may have seen like the Skinny Fats logo out there, which this was already out there, or you had some
we did no prior marketing, honestly. Like big
before you
no.
started.
Right.
Okay.
None.
Okay, fair
None at
enough.
all. We did no marketing. Even the first month that I was working with them, my sole job was social media marketing.
Okay.
I did none of it for the first month. All we did was a lot of branding, working a lot with the menu, and just a lot of things that it takes to open a restaurant. And I hadn't ever been a server in a restaurant, but I've eaten at lots of them.
Right. And you know how you like how they operate and how they
Right,
don't.
exactly. And, I've been in customer service, obviously, pretty much as early as I started. I started my first job when I was 14.
Right.
But I've pretty much always been in some type of customer service realm. And so I kind of knew what I wanted. And just kind of seeing the logo, seeing, the design of the cups, all those little tiny things, putting that all together, and it kind of gave a personality to me. I saw a personality, and I just
does.
wanted to bring that out. So that's kind of what my job was.
I'll tell you what I think is totally cool. I just look at the cup
Yeah.
and actually see the sides. You can see how far you're down. You're getting sad when you
Well,
get
do you
closer
see
to
what
the
it
end.
says right there?
I can't really see what it says, but I've seen the faces.
It says happy meter. That's your happy meter. That
is
tells
funny.
you that tells you how happy you are. If you still got anything in your drink or not.
That is totally cool.
We base our happiness on how full your
That's
cup
the
is.
happy meter on the side there. That's awesome. And it is not anything I've ever seen before. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Go
So
ahead.
a lot of that branding, or that whole personality, really needs to shine through, and that's what I thought would be the most addicting thing to the place.
Right.
We're gonna have good food. I mean, because there would be no exception to that rule.
Right.
I mean, we would not serve anything that we wouldn't
Sure.
want to eat ourselves, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest part of it was getting that personality out there and making sure that it just was very, very noticeable, very, social worthy. I mean, I want people to talk about it all the time.
Well,
and they do.
They do. They talk about it. I can't wait to go, or I go there all the time. I can't wait to bring you. And what I saw from a photographer background is I liked how you incorporated, because you can take a picture of food, okay? You can take a picture of food. You're like,
Right.
here are our red velvet pancakes, and we call them something else. And what are they called, by the way?
Our red velvet waffle, actually. So
Oh,
it is a little
waffle.
bit different.
Okay, it is
but
different.
we call it the ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so you could take a picture of that and you say, okay, look at all the whipped cream or whatever that's on this thing. But what Charity did is said, well, we have this colorful wall in our space, and I'm going to incorporate that into the virtually every shot. I mean,
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a
so
secret.
somebody else did that too. I'm going to get corrected here with the whole show.
No, I'm going to tell you a secret.
Okay, go ahead.
So a lot of the marketing for Skinny Fats and why people always want to eat in there is because the social media brings them into the room every single time.
Right.
Every post, it brings you to where we are. I shoot against the walls because of the colors, obviously, but also because it brings you to sitting right there.
Sure.
It brings you to that memory, and hopefully that's a good memory. And that's why our cashiers are very smiley, upbeat people, and that's why the music is the way that it is. It's supposed to be an entire experience and not just getting this plate of food.
Give me my food, and I'm going to sit at this
Right.
table and eat
So
it.
just taking the pictures inside that room is very, very important. I could just as well take pictures of it on a stainless steel countertop in the kitchen. But does that bring anybody to an experience of what we offer at Skinny Fats? I mean, I don't think that's the proper interpretation.
No.
So
But
just bringing people right into the room constantly.
besides the ones that have already gone and have the memory, you have also the people that haven't gone.
Right,
And
that are
when they
just
arrive,
like, what is this?
they say, "What is this?" And they arrive and go, "I recognize that already."
Right.
I feel like I've been there before, or I go all the time when I see the pictures. I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Right.
skinny fats."
Yeah, and the whole social media that we do is, I mean, if you look back through our old posts, you'll see that we did not know yet how to interpret anything yet. We
Right.
didn't know what was going to catch fire and what was not, you know. So it was a little bit of experimenting, and I've thought about taking those posts down, but I don't think I'm ever going to take them down.
think it
It
shows
is part
growth.
of the development.
Sure.
It is part of the branding, and it's also part of the discovery of skinny
Sure.
fats, which I think is, you know, pretty cool.
For everybody else and for yourselves.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's going to go and do a lot of other things.
Yeah,
we
we're
can talk
opening
about
more
it a little bit, but
yeah, we're opening more locations. So our first or our second Skinny Fats, we're calling it Skinny Fats 2. Is it's going to be on 215 in Durango, and
Okay.
I won't tell you exactly where
No,
yet.
you know,
Stay
but it's
tuned.
in that area.
Follow us on social media.
On Skinny Fats everywhere.
Yeah. But you know, and then we're looking at other places. I mean, we've had a lot of demand. We get emails every day, people wanting us to franchise out to Florida and California and even in Hawaii and
Sure.
whatnot. So, I mean, we've got a lot of requests.
The concept of it is something that I hadn't seen before, which I think is fantastic. I think the blending of the two is perfect.
Right.
And I've told her where I think that one should go, but it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Well, I mean, I didn't say
I want to
it's
walk
not
there.
gonna
That's why I said it.
just said that
It
it's
won't
not the
happen
most
for several
convenient
years, and hopefully,
location.
I'm not where I'm at where I am now in that length of time. So it won't matter at that point.
Why don't you just plan to move next to one of our locations?
See, there
I
you
say
go.
you go that way.
215 in Durango. I'm going there tomorrow. I'm moving in that area.
Just got to wait until it opens up
Perfect.
now.
I do, right? That's the important part. I have to do that. But like we were saying, this is one of several of the companies that you work with. I mean, this is a big part of what you do, but you do with Las Vegas Distillery and all that. For the people that are out there listening and they say, wow, this is amazing what she does, this is something I would like to do too, can you give a little bit of how you think the best way to start? I mean, you've had your own ups and downs, and okay, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I did this more. It doesn't even have to be a blueprint, but just something that says, okay, you know, if you do these important things, this is the right path to go on.
I wish I could tell you exactly what I did right.
You don't know.
But honestly, like, I just rarely ever turned a job down as long as I felt competent to do it. And Google is my best friend.
Right.
I spend so much time on Google learning because honestly, I don't have a college degree. School is just not my thing. I went to
Not mine either.
college for 3 years. My first year didn't count because it was at a private Christian college, so none of my credits transferred. My second and third year, I was at a community college, and honestly, I was like, I don't like this at all.
Right. Right.
So don't tell my daughter.
I won't. She needs to go. You need to go to college, Chloe.
We'll
Yeah,
bleep
Chloe.
this out later.
But you know, it's not that I don't believe in college. It's just that it wasn't for me.
Right.
And I worked my tail off ever since I was 14. I had my first job. I'd go to the office that I worked at, and I would work after school every day. And during the summer, I had 2, sometimes 3 jobs. So me having a bunch of different clients and working in a bunch of different realms right now is actually something that's pretty normal for me.
Okay.
I know it's not something that's normal for most people.
Right.
They focus on one thing and become the most productive in that. But I only am the most productive when I am all over the place.
Well, and I can attest to how that is. I said earlier in the show about the phones that she has, and they go, I won't say, I mean, even if she wants to try and relax, they're
I
going
relax
off.
on social media.
Yeah, there's no relaxing with, but you took, and I just thought of this when you were referring to the things that you do. Let's just take your promotion. So your phone's going off like crazy, but every client that you're dealing with, is basically like its own little business, and they're their own little person, and they have their own needs and their own wants. And so you dealing with 15, 20, 100 of them in a given day or week allowed you to be able to, okay, so Skinny Fats, you're this, and Las Vegas Distillery, you're this, and Red Wagon, you're this, and you were able to separate them enough to go, okay, I know what you need specifically, and to make your experience like here in Vegas better, and you do it for that specific person. So I think even that training
it's all
has
about
helped.
right. It's all about learning. You know what? I can credit a lot of this to the personalities I've met through nightlife hosting.
Okay.
I have, hosted millionaires, and I've hosted kids that don't have any money and they're still in college.
Sure.
So, and I've always loved working with a variety of people and kind of putting them together and putting opportunities together. I think that's, the only way to succeed is, in my opinion, through your network.
Right.
And so I utilized my network. Honestly, like, when I started my company, I didn't know that I was going to be so busy that I couldn't even make my own website or do my own marketing.
Right.
And that's kind of what ended up happening. And I'm very, very blessed, and it's a completely good problem to have.
Sure.
How do you have all your hair still?
I
see.
This
I
is the constant
don't.
thing with George. How do you keep that?
I'm just wondering.
rip
I
all
have not
mine
been able
out.
to get hold of this yet. I'm just every day I'm like, wow, more's out.
I must have really
It
good
must not be a
genes.
stress thing then.
No, I believe it's stress.
Okay. then Charity is never stressed. She's just okay with everything. that goes
I
on.
get stressed, but I woosah a lot.
See, that's what it is.
Woosah.
I
You
need
need-
cinnamon and woosah.
You need some mousse. Yeah. Is it cinnamon?
I think
No,
it was
it's peppermint.
Peppermint,
You
that's
keep
right.
saying-
See, I would have put cinnamon on my head.
Heather said she should put some peppermint, and he keeps saying cinnamon. It might give you the
Try
same
both.
tingly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
Just
throw
do
it
both
all
at the
on
same
there.
time.
Yeah.
mix it. I think that'll help.
If not, I'll smell good like a candy
You will.
cane or something.
You will. But using all those different, you're meeting with different people in the nightlife industry and all different characters and in all different walks of life, from change in their pocket basically to lots of money, allowed you to meet different types of people and get accustomed to dealing with people in different walks of life.
Right, and also understanding that, the cultural backgrounds, anything can affect where you are right now. One of my most happy things about working in the nightlife industry is that I grew up with a lot of these kids that,
Sure.
were 21 and first Vegas trip and la la la, and I don't even know what a Vegas club is yet.
Right.
And then getting to the point where they just know, like, Charity, we want 6 bottles and we want this and that, and they know what they want now.
They went from
They've
you
gone
tell us
from-
what to do, and now this is
Right.
what we need.
We're going to tell you what to do,
Sure.
and we've got the money now.
Right,
You
yeah,
know?
exactly.
And it's great seeing people advance like that. So, not judging people too heavily
Sure,
before,
sure.
denying them and,
Right.
kind of just.
Like, what can you offer me now? Well, you look at it like, what can I help you with? And then you're probably going to remember me in the future and hire me again because I did such a good job.
Right. I really feel that a lot of my, relationships with those people that would come into town, they were really my marketing. They would
Right.
go home and tell their friends, you got to call Charity. Don't call anybody else. Call
Right.
Charity.
She's gonna help you.
So,
Yeah.
when I did the math, I think it was during 2011, I did the math and I recorded every single client that I had and who referred them.
Right.
And it was 90% referrals.
Wow.
I really was meeting people on, planes or whatever and being like, here's my card if you ever come to Vegas.
Right.
But other than that, it was all referral business. And I just thought that was amazing. So, something was working, or maybe I was just a really good time, or
Well,
maybe the clubs, were treated me very well, and I think it was a combination of all of it. I really loved what I was doing
Right.
and helping people to experience Vegas in a VIP fashion, whether they could afford it or not.
Sure. And you directed them accordingly and hung out with them too.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was out all the
all the
time,
time.
and Chloe wasn't so happy about that one.
No.
But
But you were doing that, and it built to what you're doing now.
Right.
And I'm assuming you can spend more time with her because of that.
Yeah. That's one thing is when I started my company last year, it was actually almost a year ago. I told Chloe, I said, I promise you I will not be leaving you anymore.
Right.
I am yours when I am yours, and you're no babysitters.
Right.
Like, don't want babysitters in our lives anymore. And, she's getting to that point too where she can start holding a little bit of a grudge. And I don't want a problem teenager, honestly.
Sure. You were
I
never
have
there
to,
for me.
I have to really watch, how I am to her as she's getting to her teens. And she's
Sure.
9, but I mean, she's getting close.
It's right around the
And,
corner.
Yeah, it's a little scary, and I've never had a teenager before. I've only
Right.
been one, and I
Right.
was not.
Or wore
You
the
remember
Teenage
who
it
Mutant
is.
Ninja
Fun.
Turtle backpack, but
Yeah.
Well,
That's just that.
That's-
Adults do that too.
Right,
Come on,
yeah.
George.
that's one of my high points. That's one of
No.
my good points.
It's one of the pictures that always stands in my head, out in my head
Yeah.
about her, is just her basically in this Ninja Turtle outfit. It was awesome.
I like to dress up.
She does.
For a while,
Yeah.
I like to dress up,
It was-
and
but it was
even
fun,
now,
Yeah,
even now. I mean, I'm not costumey, but I play off of a lot of inspiration that I get, whether it be a schoolgirl or an
Uh-oh.
librarian or
well, see,
whatever.
there's one thing I took notice too. You have a very beautiful dress on, the pearls and everything, but I took a look at your fingernails.
That's the
Oh,
difference.
And you
gosh,
kept the
yeah.
style going, just that little bit of different flair going.
Yeah, so my nails are always a lot louder than my my
All
outfit.
right, show them off to the camera a little bit. So there you go. So
Yeah.
do you see she's in this nice businessy type attire, and then just like, bam, look at that.
Yeah, and
Yes, it is.
actually my middle finger says wham on it.
Like a band.
No, it's just like wham.
Okay,
I
like-
just thought it was funny. And then my thumb says bang, and I don't know. I just get random with my nails. I think it's fun.
Do you do them yourself?
No.
Okay.
No. Actually, my friend Pamela does them.
Okay.
She's amazing.
She is?
Yep.
Give Pamela a plug.
Yep.
Okay.
She's Studio 108 at Last. Look her up on Instagram, and you'll see all of the beautiful nails that she does.
And if
She's
you would like to have
amazing.
wham and bam on your fingernails, you can.
Or anything.
Or anything. Any
She does
types of
more
work.
than that.
Could she do the turtles?
She can do whatever you want.
See, there you
She's
go.
really talented.
George wants the turtles.
I'm
Turtles?
looking at, I want
Yeah.
the turtles now. I don't care if people make fun of me. I want
You can
turtles
do
on my fingers.
TMNT and like turtle power.
Yeah.
That's right.
Perfect.
And then you can start rapping like Vanilla Ice, who was just in town last
Yeah,
night.
and start piling
Go
up some
Ninja,
macaroni and cheese
go
or
Ninja,
something.
Go
Yeah.
Ninja, go. Yeah, exactly. So, and also when now you still do stuff with First Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the cool thing with that is, if you guys don't know out there, First Friday is this the first Friday of every month. They have this it's art, food, music festival in Vegas, and it happens downtown. And Charity has been a part of them for quite a while now.
Yep.
And
a year.
a year, and helps with. You do more with the company, but I remember you were telling me before that you were kind of doing a lot of focusing on like the teen area.
Right. So when I quit my last job last February, the beginning of last February, and I immediately just dove in with First Friday. I met the team. I fell in love with them, and I was like, "Take me. I'm here. Help me.
I will
help
wear
me
my
help
Ninja
you."
Turtle backpack.
I will smile. I will do whatever you need. I will check people in. I will, work in the sun. Just tell me what it is that I need to do. Because one thing about, I'm born and raised in Hawaii, and one thing about Hawaii is that you have this amazing community, and there's a lot of culture there. And in Vegas, I didn't realize that for the first 7 years of living here, I was lacking any type of culture. All I got was, nightlife, which is not really a cult. I guess
An
it's
industry.
a culture. Yeah, it's an industry, but it's not the type of culture that you actually naturally crave. You know,
Right.
the live music and the or different kind of live music.
Right.
The raw
Interactions,
talent,
right.
the art, and just people coming together and supporting one another, whether it be a charity or just a small local business or just somebody who's making things in their garage and trying to sell them
Right.
every month. So I fell in love with First Friday and just knew I had to be a part of it and let them use me however it is that they needed help. So I started working with them, and I gave them a list of everything I can do, I have done, my skills, my talents, everything. And they stuck me with the teenagers where I have no experience.
We love all these things that you've told us you can do.
This is great,
but we're going to have you do this.
Yeah.
You've never done before.
Right.
There's a challenge for you.
Right. And honestly, no marketing. I can't do any marketing for this sector of First Friday because it could easily become bigger than First Friday itself. It is targeted towards the teenagers, and we give them a live stage with a DJ. We do live art performances. We do stuff that's relevant to what we believe the teenagers love, and we use their feedback to create this entire experience for them. Prior to this area, which is called Shuffle Zone, prior to this area being, created, the teenagers would just enjoy the event, but there's a lot of alcohol in the event. It's not necessarily a party, but there is access to alcohol because we have beer and wine and, whatnot. So, and a lot of these teens, they're hanging out because they don't know what else to do on a Friday night. And what are you going to do? You're going to go and hang out at that free event for the community and whatever. So it's not always the best look for, families who want to come down and shop and bring their kids. And so a lot of the teenagers kind of were displaced, honestly, in this whole, First Friday thing. So we started this area called the Shuffle Zone, and this is what they gave me. They said nobody was managing it, and they asked me to take over it, and I didn't know what I was doing. I thought, we could try this, we could try that, and honestly, I just didn't know this demographic at all. I have at the time I had an 8-year-old, and I work with guys that are over 21 years old, and business executives. So I'm missing that segment of understanding, so really wanted to, get to know them and hopefully, transform it somehow into something bigger. And we're still learning. It's still a learning process.
Well, and with that, you had to put it in, you had to present it to the teenagers in a way that even though they're kind of like cordoned off in this area, that they didn't feel like they were like that. That it was, they still felt a part of First Friday, but they had their own little area that they could have fun and enjoy themselves, but they weren't necessarily interacting with all the, adult type stuff. But I would imagine that, you really had to think hard about, okay, how do I present this in a way that says, please come here, enjoy yourself, but yes, and you're still part of it, but you're in your own little section. Like, there are like these, they're not stanchions, but they're like metal gates and stuff, like a line walk through, and then there's this tent over there. I think you still have that, right? Or
I mean, we kind of move it around a little bit, but I mean, it's segmented off for sure.
Yeah, it's segmented off, so you have to present it in a way that says, yes, we understand that you're segmented off, but we want you still to feel a part of this
and
experience.
they're a huge part of the First Friday attendance. They make up a huge number. It's hard to actually do the numbers, but I mean, on a good month, I would say we get about 5,000 teenagers, which is a lot of kids. And the entire First Friday event gets about 20,000 to 30,000 attendees. So they're making up a huge chunk of that.
Yeah, almost a quarter of it.
Yeah, they're doing, I mean, they're awesome too. I mean, most of them don't mean any harm or anything. They just want to have
a place
fun.
to go.
And honestly, all they love to do is just dance and listen to music. We shut that off and they're like, boo.
How dare you shut off our music.
I'm like, but this guy's doing a really cool thing. If you would just watch him. And they're like, we don't care.
We don't care.
So,
the music back on.
Yeah, they don't. They like social media. They like the hottest DJs, and they like to just be the coolest person there, or at least hanging out with the coolest person there. So, it's as simple as just being simple. You don't have to do anything over the top. You just give them what they like, make sure it's a clean and safe environment, make sure the security knows exactly, what points to watch, and that's really it. I mean,
you see your diversity. I mean, you're going from dealing with teens over here and being able to work that well, and having a distillery that you work with, and then a restaurant that you work with, and you're all over the board, but you're able to, like I was saying before, that's kind of just being in this town, and other people too, just being introduced to a lot of different segments of the community allows you to take all that in and go, okay, I know how to. I always wore different hats. I could go shooting for when Las Vegas Life magazine was around, and I'm in this $5,000 plate thing and shooting that and hobnobbing with everybody there. But then the next night I'm, in a nightclub with people, dancing crazy, and I'm wearing a shirt with a logo on it, and then just having a good time there. So
Right.
you have to wear different hats if you want to really be successful out here. I think
Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah.
Let's. We have a couple more minutes left, and I want to touch on Las Vegas Distillery. So, where in Red Wagon? So, where do you see all that going?
So I met George probably I would say around August or so, and he was introducing a brand new line called Baby Vodka,
Okay.
which is actually owned by Vin Armani from the Gigolos.
Okay.
And they were trying to bring out a cool way to introduce it to the nightlife industry because it's going to be more of a bottle service or luxury-driven vodka brand
Okay.
that is made here in Las Vegas. If you really think about it, there's no alcohol that's made here that is consumed in our nightclubs, but we do millions and millions of dollars in sales every year, maybe billions. I don't know the exact figures, but so they wanted to bring that and introduce it, and it is as far as I have heard, it is a great brand. It does taste amazing, and so I
She's
started
been
working.
sober for almost 2 years, by the way.
So I just started working with them on trying to, bring that brand out. And it was just a one-off event that we did. And, he's going to launch it more with Gigolos and get the awareness out that way. Maybe we'll do more things in the future.
Okay.
But George and I were trying to figure out how to work together. I mean, he is just the most loving man, and you just fall in love with him. And I just wanted to be a part of what he's doing.
Right.
And he gave me that opportunity and said, okay, so I want to have tours at the distillery. I want to bang down these walls, and I want to create almost like a museum, a live museum.
Cool.
But also a manufacturing, so people can actually see how it's made, how it's turned from grain to spirit, what the ingredients are that he uses,
Sure.
and how to do this. If this is something that you want to do, and make alcohol in the future or open your own distillery, I mean, he is more than willing to tell you exactly how he did it and how
awesome.
it's done. So, he wanted to bring that to Las Vegas, and also to make it a tourist destination.
Right.
We need more things for families to do, or other things that are not just partying
Sure.
all the time. So he asked me if I would partner up with him on bringing these tours and promoting them. And so Red Wagon Tours is basically a promoter for Las Vegas Distillery, and he is going to do some renovations there at the distillery, create an entire 90-minute experience. They're called experience tours.
Okay.
And we're gonna start launching that within probably the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Everything's being built right now, so you can go to redwagontours.com and you can register there to find out more information.
Cool. And if you want to know anything additional about Charity, she is on every single social media platform out there. You can friend her, follow her, all that. You can also go to her website, watercolormarketing.com. There's an email link for her there, and I think her Twitter is there too. And so you can contact her that way. Again, she's doing a whole bunch of stuff here in Vegas, and this is really just the tip of the iceberg. She's just going to do so much more, and her plate will just be overflowing, I see. I
Thanks
know
for
that's
having
gonna
me,
happen.
Jeremy.
Of course. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. It is, of course, Friday. We will be back on Monday at 1 p.m. here on alltalkradio.net. I have Miss Jody Rocco coming on. She is a really cool person, been in town for a long time. So you make sure to check out that. Go to thejeremywomackshow.com. You guys have a great day. Bye.